Do you know the top 5 mistakes that agents make with open house leads? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Rosemary Lewis, your educator agent with eXp Realty. And today I am going to warn you about the 5 mistakes that most agents make with open house leads, because I don't want you to make them, y'all. But before we get into it, do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And can you give your girl a thumbs up? And if any part of this video is helpful, go ahead, put it in the comments. What mistake are you like, I didn't know about that? And I will not make the same mistake. So let's get into our topic for today. So I've already shared with you all that one of my favorite ways personally of collecting leads and meeting new people is to host open houses. On every single one of my listings that I have, we definitely host open houses, and I have connected with such amazing folks. Like, I can think of at least 20, 25 clients that not only ended up buying at an open house, but ended up selling and being great referral partners. And I think part of it is the rapport that you can build from that initial face-to-face interaction. But there are lots of mistakes that agents make at open houses, and I'm going to give you the top 5 ones so that you don't fall into those same traps. Mistake number 1. Not capturing the information of the people who come to the open house. I cannot tell you how many times I have even hosted an open house and people will come in, you have your little sign-in sheet, and they're like, oh no, I'm good, I don't want to sign in. And in the beginning, I didn't know what to say with that. Like, I didn't know how to handle that objection. And let's just be real, y'all. On an open house day, you have done a lot of preparation for that. And the whole purpose of the open house, some people think, is to sell the house. And don't get me wrong, you're trying to sell the house, but you're also trying to meet the people who are coming in unrepresented and want to buy a house, okay? So why go through the trouble of getting your snacks together, of getting signs, of, going in the heat, getting water, doing all that stuff, if you're going to let people just walk in and walk out the door and you do not know their name? So we have to get into the habit of making it non-negotiable where we get the information for every person that walks into the home. Rosemary, I know what you're saying. What am I supposed to do? If they don't want to sign the paper, they don't want to sign the paper. Like, I'm not about to chase anyone down. Well, here's what you say. You know what? Thank you so much. For security purposes, we have shared with the seller that for everyone that will tour the home, we will capture their information. Now, I'm not going to spam you. This is just for me to have your information. I promise you, I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to bug you, but I definitely want to honor our commitment to the sellers and make sure that everyone signs in. And then take it a step further, y'all. I actually don't like to have a sign-in sheet. I like to have a QR code that scans directly to my CRM. My CRM lets me know once they put in the information. And like, I'll call somebody out like, oh, I actually need your correct email address because it says abc@gmail.com. Again, for security purposes, I need all of the information. Or I can text you a link. When you text them a link, they'll have all of the information there and you get their phone number. So do not do an open house without capturing their information. Here is the second mistake that agents make. You go through all that trouble. You capture all the information, but then you don't follow up. You do an open house on Saturday. Sunday comes, you don't follow up. Monday comes, you don't follow up. Tuesday comes, you don't follow up. Wednesday comes, you don't follow up. And Thursday, you have convinced yourself that they don't remember you. So you're just gonna schedule another open house for the next weekend and do it all over again. Wasting your time. Definitely have a procedure for following up with leads, okay? Make sure that you're calling them, you're giving them value, you are sharing with them what's happening with the property. Like, let them know right away, hey, I'm Rosemary, I met you at the open house, this is my information, so on and so forth. So do not go through all of the trouble of hosting an open house if you're not actually gonna follow up with the leads that are there. Mistake number 3 that most agents make. You follow up with the leads, but you follow up with 0 value. Something like this. hi, this is Rosemary. We met at the open house, and yeah, I know you said that house was a little too small for you, but I'm just wondering, are you working with a realtor? Do you want to buy or sell in the future? And guess what? That person is at work, like it's Tuesday, they on their way to soccer practice, and you calling me without a solution. Okay, you just calling me to see what I want to do. Obviously, I'm interested in buying a house or doing something with a house because I was at a house. So why are you calling me for more information? You should be calling me, giving me value. So this is how that could go. Hey, Bob, this is Rosemary. Hey, it was such a pleasure to meet you and Cindy at the open house. I know that house was a little bit smaller than what you intended. So I was thinking maybe you wanted to be within the 3,000 to 3,500 square foot range. I went ahead and emailed you over today other comparable homes in the area, and I can actually show you some of those to you tonight. Check out the link and I'll actually text it here too. You see that? You're following up with value. You're following up knowing their problem, knowing their objection, and you're finding a way to solve that problem. And Bob is going to be more apt to call you back than the person who just wants to know if he's gonna buy or sell in the next 6 months. Mistake number 4. Okay, for the love, y'all, this is what you gotta do. The mistake that some agents make is you don't remember anything about the client or the potential client from the open house. So when you call them back, you have, especially when you have busy open houses, and I know how that is, you get them jumbled in your head and we cannot continue any of that rapport. So have a little notepad. You have your phone, take notes. Remember that Craig and Mary were the ones relocated from Pittsburgh. Remember that Sally is the one who came with her grandson who lives around the corner, and because they want to live closer to them. Remember that Donnie is the one who was married to the really tall lady who didn't say her name, but you know that they really, really want a pool, but we're seeing if this house had enough room for a pool. So when you follow up, you can say, hey, Donnie, hey, I know that you and your lovely wife really, really wanted a pool. So this is what I did. I went ahead and I pulled all the comparable properties that either already have a pool or they have enough room to put a pool. How's your availability? I would love to show you something. So now Donnie is like, what, girl, you remember me and you remember, you called my wife pretty and you remember we want a pool? Bet, let me give you a call back. So make sure that you have some value, not only value, but you remember them. You make it a little bit more personal to them instead of robo-dialing people and being like, hello, this is Rosemary from the open house. Yeah, make it a little bit more personal, okay? Okay. And finally, mistake number 5 that most agents make with open house leads. Y'all stop calling. You will call, you will remember their name, you will remember all the things about them, you will even have value to share, but you will call 1 or 2 times, and that is it. I always tell the story, I'm not gonna name her. I have a wonderful client who we have bought and sold on many a property. But I will tell y'all that this young lady, we hit it off at the open house, almost felt like we were cousins. I called her that Tuesday. Well, maybe I called her the next day. Anyway, she didn't answer to that Tuesday. That Tuesday, she kind of rushed me off the phone. Okay. Called her back, nothing. Called her back, nothing. Text her. Like, this was a cycle. I was calling, texting, emailing, calling, texting, emailing. And this went on, y'all, for a while, a few months. And guess what happened? I will be honest and say I was a little annoyed. Like, I cannot believe she's not calling me back because she was so excited. But, you know, people have lives. A couple months later, she called me like, hey, you sent me a house. I want to go see it. I'm already pre-approved. Let's do it. That house wasn't the house for her, but we did find the house for her. Okay. And we did close the house. And after we closed the house, I closed her mama house. And after we closed her mama house, I closed a friend house. And it just kept spiraling from then and then and then. And she told me that one of the reasons that she definitely went with me because she had lots of realtors who collected her information. And that's why she wasn't following up, because she was just overwhelmed by all the different people, is that I just continued to follow up. I continued to follow up with value. I wasn't pressuring her, but I was just letting her know like, hey, I'm still here. On average, do you know I read a statistic somewhere that says that the average lead does not engage until like the 8th to 12th contact. So that means that if you have only reached out to somebody 1 or 2 times, listen, that's not enough. That is not enough. And I know what you're saying. You don't want to be pessimistic. You don't want to be getting on their nerves. But if you're calling with value, you're not just calling to say, hey, do you want to buy or sell in the future? But you're calling to say, hey, I know you were looking at Frisco, Texas, and I just want to make sure you know that they're having fireworks next week. It might be great for you to take your kids, Johnny and Tisha, that I saw at the open house, right? You're calling with value, and then that way you are staying top of mind, okay? Okay. Now, y'all, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it is going to assist you in not making these mistakes, and that you are going to not only rock out your open house, but rock out your follow-up process and actually get to the closing table. And if you've made it to the end of this video and you're not subscribed to my channel, I'm not going to hold it against you. Go ahead and subscribe now. And while you're at it, thumbs up. And after you do that, hop on over to my podcast, The Real Estate Besties, anywhere where you consume your podcast content. Your homegirl is there, and we are having so many great conversations, just like best friends do. Talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.